Round 1.
Miss Miller?
So where's Miss Lee tonight? Britt Holstrom called Mr. Benoit Papa Benoit and Baby Ben. That seemed to place human connections on the family. Then Mr. Benoit showed such emotion when there was a damaging microburst in Riverside from Wildomar to the desert, probably because he was a policeman and appreciated Riverside's topography. However, he didn't seem to connect the negative changes in the weather and traffic with more building. He so enjoyed all the events in Riverside County and always told us at the Board of Supervisors what he had been doing. Now I will remind us of the methane leak from Porter Ranch, Aliso Canyon last year. It went on for, 4 or 5 months. I think that this has contributed to the damaged Arctic jet stream, which protects us from the harsh cold of the Arctic winds that blow across Canada and then to us, as witnessed by the East Coast and even as far as Europe. So, that contributed huge amounts of CO2 and weakened the jet stream with heat. It has to stay cold and in place to prevent that cold coming here. I mean, if you don't know what's going on in the East Coast, you're not keeping up. Seriously. It's just been terrible. Temperatures under 0, in Europe worse than that. So we have to think twice before creating more heat coming out of Southern California, which we'll be doing with all these projects scheduled on the docks this evening. So can you just think beyond the millions of dollars that you get from these houses? And also, if you don't know Rex Tillerson, the head of Exxon, I got one chuckle back there. Mr. Mays tries to keep a positive attitude when he listens to all this, but I can't, so there. Anyway, Mr. Tillerson has been with Exxon for 40 years. 40 years he's been in 80 nations ripping their oil off. And combining with Mr. Trump, well, they've got Mr. Trump's hotels. They just got the world pinned down. It's called, oil capitalism. It's over. We've got all the Arab lands. South America is just one long oil derrick. I mean, the Honduran president, he offered us a chance to buy the rainforest in Honduras. That would have been perfect. But he only got about $100 million from countries all across the world. And he had to quit the project.
Thank you, Ms. Miller.
So you need to go online, Facebook, and stop Rex Tillerson. Call people from Mississippi, the senator
Those are all
of
the speakers I
Mississippi,
have.
Tennessee.
Round 2.
We are in deep mourning to see the change of zone for 19.2 acres on, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I have to look at that. Wrong group. You can give me that stamp in a minute. You can start my time over. Nova homes will cause substantial environmental impact to running the wildlife further into the last of dwindling open space. So many people tell me there is nothing left along Clinton Keep, and I apologize for not commenting during the proper time. It is difficult to keep up with what property has been sold to what LLC developer. Also, you claim to address the concerns brought up by the comments. You have never addressed with any alternative except no project is the only alternative preserved for habitat conservation. This will be a terrible project of high density on a rural country road, Clinton Keep. I can't turn left there now, north, south, east, west. It's backed up. The other night, January 7, 2017, 5 o'clock, Monday, Inland Valley Way was backed up to the hospital. I cannot turn onto Clinton Keep. Too much traffic. And think what's going to happen when you add colleges and other things that you're doing. More people will move from Wildomar than you will be able to fill these places. Leave your designs on the computer, sir. This postage-sized land at 11 acres that you are crowding condominiums into small spaces, 77 of them, medium high density, And what happened to the 7-Eleven that's in all the papers? A dangerous, fumy gas station next to these houses? How unsafe is that? How aesthetically unattractive. So for this public hearing, we oppose totally 11 acres subdivided into 77 condominiums. And we know that the burrowing owl's nest are within the 5-mile radius that should be a 25 radius because it goes over to MSJC and Menifee. And I have seen snakes on the corridor there. They come out of the hole on the property that we're talking about. They go across the street and they go in a hole on the other side. So you're going to have to leave this as a nursery for all the endangered species that are there. Quinoa, checker spot butterfly, feeding plants will come out. This, because of the rain, will have the poppy up and down the streets. It'll be glorious, and it should be left that way. Plant hemp, not buildings. I have 9. And how can you write off the 100-year flood damage and impact to the houses that shouldn't be there on Palomar?
Thank you, Mrs. Miller. Thank you.
Round 3.
We who lived around the corner from Mr. and Ms. Castanon are in deep mourning to see the change of zone for 19.2 acres on McVicker. I tried to gather signatures against this 30 years ago. Neighbors signed. However, it seems that only Castronons have survived, and they are approving this. I do like the remark that all water ends up on McVicker. And really, was this the project started by the reason we had to move the Brown house? I suppose it was. There's still a questionable orange skirt of death over by Plowboy's fruit stand. And is that where the project's supposed to start and go over to Grand Avenue? 48 homes. The last time I checked on this, it was 100 homes and 180 on Palomar. That's entirely too much runoff headed for Marietta Creek, where, if you remember, I told you that I was drug out of the creek in my Geo Metro. This time you're going to have scuba suits just to live around there. It was bad enough when my car was floating. So, it'll be an underwater attraction and theme park. So this is in addition to the college runoff and George Street runoff. All those toilets and showers going. You know, the drainage running off into the creek. I mean, you're just not going to absorb all this. How are you going to absorb the lawsuits? The mud over there now must be thick. We can't believe it'll be a total lockdown of streets, traffics, roads, toxic runoff. Of course this property has vernal pools with a fairy shrimp. It's a riparian. It's a riparian joy to go and see trees that are huge and thick of foliage and leaves. And they're native and endangered because California lost 102 million trees since 2010 because of the drought. If you think the drought is over, you better wake up. It's not going to be over for years. Of course, this property has many endangered animals. The Kino checker spot butterfly feeding plant, the Plantega erectus, the tiny white flowered plant that's all over the land around here. The Kino could come out for that. And you've got to be watching for it. Not covering it over with concrete. Where is he? All right. The
I'm sorry,
southwestern
that's
willow
it.
fly.
Ms. Miller, thank you.
No, it's not thank you. I just told you what you're doing is not
Ms.
right.
Miller.
How can you thank me? The Stevens kangaroo rat runs through the property.
There are no other speakers.
Round 4.
No other speakers.
No other speakers? Wow. Nobody wants to speak on this one?
All right, I'll say something.
I figured it was. I knew somebody was going to have to come up. You can fill out a slip afterwards, Mrs. Miller.
Plant, hemp, plant, medical marijuana, plant, non-medical. You know, why are you trying to stop the people from doing what they want to do? 52% of the people in Wildomar voted for this. A 10-month, it's gonna take you 10 months to figure this out? Didn't you go online and do your homework, like you always tell me, did you do your homework? Did you do your homework and read about YouTubes of the young people that have epilepsy that are helped by medical marijuana? Did you do it? Who did it? All right, Mr. Nick, what did you find out?
I'll talk afterwards.
No, we won't, but you need to tell them. So, I just don't understand that. Do you have connections with the pharmaceutical industry that would like to have full control over it? And if they do, then we'd be praying that they don't tamper with it. They don't make it half as strong so that they can sell twice as much. That's what some of the Prop 64 was about. Is that the right Prop? I didn't support it that much. But I'm glad people think that they can do this, and I hope that people are not arrested, and the new police chief, he's not ready to do things to people. But those who are, I hope that they are very discreet in their decisions, that we don't walk past a bus stop and it's too fragrant to pass up. So, no, can't be doing that. Will there be discretion? Maybe you should give out a discretion ticket. Warning, you can't do this just anywhere you want to. Would that make you feel better? So that it didn't go in anybody's window and no neighbors were being affected and children were being inspired to find out what was going on next door. That if these type of things are happening, that you could do something about it. But not arresting, not banning, not stopping facilities that pay you. What's wrong with you getting tax dollars? I don't understand that. I don't understand why this town is refusing money for something that, you know, that obviously the people are going to do whether you're there or not. And you keep a lot of crime down and, you know, people running about with weapons in their cars and whatnot. This is not appropriate activities. So, you will keep Wildomar a safer place if you don't do this for 10 months. You know, you were able to pass all these things and put them out for in 1 month. I had to go over and check on all these proposals and new projects and old projects, and you had a month to decide about this, and you decided 10 months?
Thank you, Ms.
We're
Miller.
not going to tolerate that. It's not going to take you 10 months.
Thank you.
All right, officer, come get me.
He
Where
doesn't
is
need to get you. Just turn off the mic, that's even simpler. There we go.
Not with my vocals.
Ms. Miller, thank you.
That was pathetic.